worked together with my mom and dad in South Bend, Indiana for a while. Well, my dad had a problem was when I was about 5 or 6. He would keep coming home with just being real hyper, real strung out, real angry all the time and stuff, and it was a big problem. Eventually he would physically hurt myself or my mom, and that's when she decided to leave. And that's when we noticed he had a problem. And then my mom, in the wake of leaving and stuff and being kind of alone and everything, kind of turned to alcohol, and so that's when I started noticing she also had a problem. Dealing with their addictions as a kid obviously affected me a lot. It just made life really hard and just not very stable. It was a very unstable life. I couldn't rely a whole lot on everything being the same. The relationship with my parents, both of them, changed mainly because, like I said, my dad got help and he got everything figured out and it's a lot better and is trying to do all the right things and help me out with college and just be there for me like he wanted to be early on and just couldn't. He never saw it as a problem originally. I guess he originally just thought he was fine and in control, I guess. I don't know. But once we left, he said he started to realize that he really had a problem. And it took my dad about a year and a half to go through rehab and get his life back together enough so that he was willing or ready for me to come home and see him and everything. So if she was strong enough to leave, I was hoping she would be strong enough to get help and fix the problem.
My biological mother was a drug addict, and I don't know, I spent like probably the first 8 years of my life in foster care, and I have a handicapped brother and sister that are handicapped because of that drug. My older sister, I think she just started doing drugs in high school. A lot of her friends in high school passed away of heroin overdoses, and she actually told me never to try heroin. And then I found out just recently that her husband was doing heroin, and he just did drugs all through school. I think he dropped out of high school early, like sophomore year, and I think he moved out to LA and like slept under a bridge for a year, just doing drugs, you know, and like, I don't know, it seemed like he was getting his life back together, and then, I don't know, he had back problems and ended up getting paralyzed, and I guess that's when like the real heavy drug abuse started and led to his death. The toxicology report came back, and I guess cocaine, pot, alcohol, heroin, Oxycontin, methadone. He had, I don't know, just some of the things that were in his system. My sister had addiction with painkillers and like sleeping medicine, and I believe that's why she was on methadone. And she had a baby when she was on methadone, so the baby was born on methadone, so they had to like work the baby. I've not spoken with my biological mother since I was about 4 or 5. I just know she's bounced around, and I think she grew up in foster homes like myself, and I don't know, just never escaped that, you know, like never had hope for anything, and I feel like maybe that's why she got addicted to drugs, you know.
I just remember him just being just this super friendly guy, and I always, even though he's my younger brother, I always looked up to him because he was a personality, you know, incredibly friendly person that just wanted everybody to make sure that they had somebody and that they had a friend. I think some of the things that attracted Corky to drugs and alcohol were, I feel that he was so into music, and just the group that he was with seemed that it just kind of went with the rock and roll lifestyle. I think that was part of the initial attraction. And then as he started gaining these friend bases that were also using, I feel like, I don't know, he started having these, I guess, kind of drug friends and people that, like, if you weren't doing that, then what else were you going to do? Like, that's all you really had in common. I think, especially toward the end, that when he was in a good mood and when he was happy, he was on something. And I just feel like the mood swings were just so frequent feel like that was maybe withdrawal symptoms. The night before Corky died, I was home for the summer, and he went out to a concert, mindless self-indulgence, and I was already asleep, but I guess he came home and one of his friends dropped him off, and he came in and said goodnight to my mom, woke her up, and she even said that she didn't even notice that there was something off or anything. Said, hey, I had a really great time, I got an autograph, it was a great night, I'm excited about tomorrow. And then went upstairs and I guess did some fentanyl, and my mom found him the next morning and she went to wake him up for graduation. I would tell somebody who has a friend or loved one that's getting pretty deep into the cycle. I would tell them just to let them know that you know what's going on. I think there are so many times that I feel like it was just getting out of control. Corky was so good at hiding it, but I feel that there were some times that he really just wished that somebody would just say, what are you doing? Like, it's just out of control. And I especially feel like towards the end that might have been a message he was trying to get out, and we just weren't really willing to listen to it. But I think just confrontation, and you're gonna get yelled at, and you're gonna get your feelings hurt, and you're gonna feel like they just hate you. But if you get somebody to listen.
My advice to people dealing with this, I think if you see these problems in other people or have a problem, you should talk to somebody about it. That's the only way you can do anything about it.
Don't be afraid to confront the person about it. Just don't be afraid to do something about it, to talk to them, to get help, to do whatever you can to get them to face their addiction.
My name is Ben Hopkins, and my biological mother was a drug addict and an alcoholic.
My name is Justin Schreiberg, and my family has an addiction problem.
My name is McCokrmick, and my brother died from a drug overdose.
So Owen's gone. He shot the moon and stole the sun, and now it's all but done. And everyone, yes, everyone went out to see if all the stars were gone. They were gone, they were gone. One day he's gonna kill it all away. Oh, one day he's gonna kill it all away. Why you leave me out in my grove? Like my heart is yours to be so. It's never gonna be the way that it was. But that's just another side effect of the